So I just put this bag over my head and I'm just tightening it. And I'm like all the guys are like, what is going on with her? And I'm like trying to just like kill myself, over this car deal. I can't handle it. So the buy here, pay here, the owner is a nice guy, but he likes to be kind of hidden from everything. He doesn't really like to be known as the owner, which I always thought was a little strange to me because as a salesman, there's no better feeling to be able to tell your customer, hey, there's the owner. He'd like to congratulate you on your new vehicle. It just makes things more solidified and they're like, oh wow, the owner met me. But yeah, he doesn't do that deal. He had blown up on me quite a few times. My father had passed away. I hadn't taken vacations or anything from there, but my father had passed away. And so this particular incident, I came back, I think I got back there in 4 days, and I was selling a Dodge Dart, this red Dodge Dart to this guy that had 1,700 down. He had like 5 years job time. I mean, it was a good car deal. He didn't have any repossessions on his bureau, but there was a little paint starting to come off and off the clear coat, and it looked really bad. And we had it priced at $10,995. So I tried to call my owner to see if maybe we could reduce it. His dad was with him. He said, could you take $1,000 off? I said, let me talk to him. I got a hold of the wholesaler who him and my owner attached to the hip basically. And he said, yeah, $99.95 it, just get it gone. 20 minutes later, I sell the car. My owner walks in and he goes, did you reduce the price on that vehicle? Full well knowing, because I'm sure that guy called my owner. And I said, yes, we did. And he just blows up on me. And I had just lost my dad. I wasn't in a good frame of mind. I was not clean. I mean, I was hyperventilating. I was just running. It was like I couldn't even see straight. I go to the bathroom and I'm like, how am I going to get out of here? I got to get out of here. So I get to my car, which was my little toaster, and it's parked up at O'Reilly's because I always park there. And the next thing, I'm just like crying and I'm beyond myself. And I see this, like, those little things you see, they're like waving around, I see this in the corner of my eye. I'm like, what is going on? And I look out and it's my owner. And I'm like, what is he doing? And so I rolled out my window like this much and I was like, what is the problem? He's like, you're on my foot. And I'm like, ooh. I'm sorry. I mean, I may have waited 10 more minutes. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I backed up off of that. But yeah, that was kind of a crazy moment. When he raised the price on a GMC Sierra that I was selling a really good customer that had bought many, many vehicles from us, I was not the manager at that time. There was another manager there, but he said the guy needed $5,000 down, got his $5,000, comes in, says, Gail, I'm ready to buy the truck. I think we had it priced at $32,995. Can't remember the year exactly. It might have been a 14, 15, maybe a little newer. Lifted truck, nice truck, $32,995. I go back there. They're talking on the phone. He's like, no, it's mispriced. It's got to be priced at the $4,000 more or whatever it was. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I go out to my customer and I said, listen, here's what's going on. And I said, I'll be honest with you, if you want to walk away, I understand. Probably a lot of owners would say, well, that was a horrible thing to do, but that's the right thing to say to a customer. If you want to walk away, I mean, and rightfully so, they know they can walk away. They don't need my affirmation to tell them they can walk away. So then I go back there and then I just lose I was always watching those cartel things. So I just put this bag over my head and I'm just tightening it. And I'm like all the guys are like, what is going on with her? And I'm like trying to just like kill myself, over this car deal. I can't handle it. And so they come and poke a hole in the thing and they're like, Gail, you're nuts. And I'm like, well, I just don't like raising prices on people. And he bought it, but it just doesn't do well with me. And one other time I put brake fluid in my hair because I was just so like the pricing was off and I was going to have to raise it again. And there's been a few crazy instances. I mean, I'm not for everybody, but I can sell cars and I love people. But the other time was, I don't know, my owner was just not talking to me right about a car deal. And I don't even know what happened, but I just started like hitting myself, and he's like, "Stop, stop." And I didn't know I broke his thumb. He didn't tell me that till a year later. He's like, "Gail, you remember when you were going crazy and you were hitting yourself and I was trying to make you stop?" I said, "Just let me hit myself. I didn't know I broke your thumb." He said, "I'm an alien." He was like, "There's something wrong with you. You're an alien." And I was like, "Well, I guess so." I used to be a cutter. Okay, so went through some things when I was younger, and I can explain to people why people cut themselves. But so yeah, I used to be a cutter, and this car deal was going south really bad, and I was not getting enough on the trade. I was losing ground, and I just went in the bathroom. I was just like cutting myself, and then I go to Nelson, and I'm like, I don't understand why we're not doing this car deal. And then there's blood all over. He goes, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry." And I went like this. He goes, "Oh my God, I can't handle it." And I'm like, "Oh, it'll be okay. I'll just get a bandage." I was like, this is just overwhelming. And then he'd be like, "Well, just take a shot of whiskey." And I'll be like, "Okay. And just go out and do what you need to do, Gail." And I'm like, "All right." After my mom passes away, which was just a few years ago, I had put a truck on trade. I'd worked this guy for, oh man, I'd worked this guy for like a year trying to find him the right truck. So we put it in layaway. My mom passes away. The guy put $500 down on it. I come back. He calls me and he goes, "Is the truck ready to go?" And I hadn't walked the lot yet because I'd just gotten back. I go walking around the lot and I'm like, "Where is that brown F-250?" So I walk in and I talk to the manager and he goes, "Oh, we sold that yesterday." I said, "What do you mean you sold it yesterday?" I said, "I had a deal on that." I said, "I had a deposit on that." "Oh, I didn't know you had a deposit." I said, "You're the manager. How would you not know you don't have a deposit on a vehicle that's on my lot?" I was like, now I got to call my customer. I said, he's going to be irritated. I said, what's going on, dude? I call my customer and he's heated. He's very heated. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this." I called my girl, Christy, worked at another place. And I said, "Hey, call this guy," because he was going to put 10 grand down. So I'll never forget. I was pretty upset. I was pretty upset the whole day, but I still have to sell cars and get over it. But I was at a Waltz. Me and my friends were sitting there having a few drinks, and my customer calls. And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he goes, "Good." He goes, "I got to thank you for that, Gail." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Not only did I get a better truck, I got an 8% interest rate." And I was like, "No, my goodness." I was like, "I'm so glad it went that way," because I said I was so upset that you were not going to get the truck that you thought you were going to get. And he was like, "Man, you did me a solid, Gail." He goes, "I guess it just worked out the way it was supposed to work out." So, yeah, that was kind of a good feeling, even though what a douchebag move. You knew that thing was taken off inventory because you put it on hold. And that guy didn't get his truck. It came back. So it wasn't like 8 months. It was already back to the lot. I haven't worked in a lot of buy here, pay here's, but I know a lot of people that have worked at other dealerships. What I will say about my dealership that I worked for quite some time, they do put the work into the vehicle before they sell it prior to. And I always can give that to the customer, show them what we did to it. So if there's any ongoing things. So yeah, that has to be factored in. And your risk, absolutely, for sure. We try to keep it as close to the retail, what is it, JD Powers. We try to get somewhere around there. Even though some of the cars, of course, salvage cars, you never really take that into effect, only when you're trading for one. It's never when you're buying one, you know what I mean? So those always kind of irritate me personally, just because I think there should be an allowance for that. But it's a vehicle and it's back to the standards that it's supposed to be. So it's just got a bent title and it follows it forever. But I think that it's, what they do. I mean, it's you are taking a risk. You are taking a huge risk. A lot of people are like, "Well, we'll just go get it." That was never something I wanted to have done. I wanted my customer to be able to continue that loan. I didn't want a bad deal. Sometimes, of course, at the end of the month, you start making rash decisions because you're just wanting to push some metal out and get to where you need to go. But at the end of the day, I've seen it 100 times. It's better just to be factual, wait and make sure that that's a good fit for everybody, because There's nothing worse than that when that customer has to lose that vehicle.
I start most of my days browsing AutoTempest for my next bad decision of a car, but did you know that supporting AutoTempest can also help support all the great content that they support in the automotive YouTube world? I know that you've probably enjoyed a lot of videos that they supported and a lot of channels that they've been sponsoring for years, perhaps without even knowing it. So check them out now at the link in the description below. It is the most powerful way to shop for your next car because you'll see all the listings showing up in one search, and you can search by any criteria that you want, but it also helps make automotive YouTube a much better place. So check them out now, autotempest.com, all the cars, one search.